Travel reviews for Turkey show a violent polarization. Visitors either offer the highest praise or return completely exhausted, vowing never to go back. This divide stems from a specific structural reality. Turkey's geography forces two distinct, often conflicting travel experiences into a single itinerary. The country physically straddles two continents. You can stand in the European district of Istanbul and look directly across the water at Asia. This dual continent layout creates a high cognitive load. Travelers often plan their trip as a standard getaway, failing to account for the energy required to bridge these vastly different cultural and geographic zones. Treating Turkey like a single compact nation is a logistical trap. If you don't account for the split structure, you spend the majority of your energy fighting the friction of the layout itself. To evaluate the true cost of this trip, we use the reality index to map the specific trade-offs of the Turkish experience. On the reward side, Turkey hits the limit. It scores a 5 out of 5 for both cultural diversity and the density of exotic experiences. However, the logistical accessibility drops to a 2 out of 5. While the highlights are top tier, reaching them requires active problem solving. You are constantly negotiating complex transit systems and significant physical distances. The gap between a 5-star visual payoff and a 2-star logistical reality is what creates travel burnout for those who arrive unprepared. The cultural landscape is built on layers, specifically the physical collision of Roman antiquity and the Ottoman Empire. In the West, you encounter some of the most expansive Roman architecture and preserved ancient ruins found anywhere on Earth. Just a short distance away, a completely different architectural language of domes and minarets dominates the skyline. Moving between these contexts requires high intellectual engagement. You are constantly switching between centuries and civilizations, which adds to the overall fatigue of the trip. This density makes Turkey a high-value destination for history divers, but a poor choice for those seeking a passive, low-effort vacation. The geological diversity is equally extreme. Moving from urban history to these surreal rock formations requires crossing thousands of kilometers of terrain. This introduces the transit penalty. Reliable travel between hubs like Istanbul and central Turkey demands internal flights, private transfers, and dedicated travel days. Even within the cities, you often rely on a complex network of trams, taxis, and large commuter ferries just to move between districts. Attempting to see these sites in under a week creates a schedule that leaves zero room for the destinations themselves. You will spend the majority of your time inside transit vehicles. In Turkey, time is your most valuable resource. If your schedule is tight, the country's massive scale becomes your primary adversary. The financial landscape has also shifted. The assumption that Turkey is a bottom-tier budget destination is now outdated. On our reality index, price currently sits at a 3 out of 5. It represents mid-tier affordability rather than a budget bargain. To mitigate the physical and mental fatigue of the trip, you must budget for premium logistical upgrades. Private transfers and central accommodations are necessary to preserve your energy for the actual sightseeing. While Turkey offers strong value, trying to execute a complex itinerary on a bare-bones budget will rapidly accelerate your exhaustion. The success of this trip depends on matching your specific travel profile to the country's demanding structure. The perfect fit for Turkey lands in the top right of this chart. You need to be time-rich, eager for deep historical engagement, and comfortable with high-friction logistics. Travelers who prioritize high-engagement culture will see a massive return on their investment from this specific layout. If you meet those criteria and have the energy for active travel, Turkey is a primary candidate for your next ticket. If the Turkish structure feels too demanding for your current trip, you should consider a strategic pivot to an alternative destination. If you are time poor but want elite Roman history, Italy offers significantly better accessibility and more streamlined logistics. For a concentrated, exotic atmosphere without the European blend, Morocco provides a more direct cultural immersion. If your goal is pristine nature with zero logistical friction, Switzerland is the optimal choice for a low-stress experience. For a high-polish, low-friction city break, traditional Western hubs like France remain more efficient than navigating Istanbul. Ultimate travel satisfaction relies on matching a destination's logistical structure to your personal limits.